podcast that you're about to listen to may cause some listeners to meet me on the bright side of the moon. Well, hey there, happy innovators. How are you all doing? You know, I was talking in the last podcast that I did about the original version of The Brightside of the Moon by Pipe Choir, the album that I had put together back in 2013, and I never released it. And I kind of floated the idea of, should I release that music, the old versions, and would anybody be interested? And to my great joy and excitement, there were some people, some happy innovators that wanted to hear this music. I also want to do a really quick shout out to Olafab and Jennifer, two happy innovators that kind of helped me along with this idea. So thank you both for your participation. And here's what we're going to do. I've already released the music on YouTube, okay? I'm going to start there with that. But today, what we're going to do in this podcast is I'm going to do a description of this music. It'll be fun for both you and I hope. So let's get into this thing and have some fun. I hope that you have a nice hot cup of coffee and, a lot of time, because there's 17 songs on this album, and this is going to be a really, really long podcast. So grab your coffee, grab your chair, get comfortable, and why don't you kind of saddle up with me for a little while and we'll check this out. So here we go. Without further ado, Pipe Choir's The Bright Side of the Moon, circa 2013, also known as the Demosis version. Let's check it out. Okay, so we got the title track here, the first song on the album, The Bright Side of the Moon. This is like an audio time capsule. Just listening to this takes me back to the time that I wrote it, which was about, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, like in that window of time. I don't remember exactly. I think that I was kind of trying to go for like an Oasis kind of idea. Like that's what it felt like to me, or it sounded like to me at the time. And it's kind of cool. Like a long time ago, back when my wife and I were first married, and I was working on this song, or the time I was working on this song, my wife and I used to go for walks at this place called the Quabbin Reservoir in Massachusetts. It's this big, huge reservoir of water that supplies water to the city of Boston. And we had like no money. We were broke, and of course, when you don't have any money, there's all kinds of stuff that comes with that, like bill collectors and that kind of stuff. And we were kind of contending with that every day, it seemed. So we would go to the Quabbin Reservoir to kind of just get away from everything just for a little while. And it became like a really important thing for us to do, and we were able to maintain our good spirits and our happiness because we would every once in a while hop in the car and just go there and just talk and sit, and it was beautiful, and the wind and the moon and the stars and the sun during the day. It's just a beautiful place to be. So that's what I'm really writing about, or that's what I'm really talking about in the song. It's pretty good, the recording to me isn't really that good, but it's a good song. I wasn't happy necessarily with the lyrics and the way that I was singing, but I was happy with the music, and I was happy with the sentiment of the song. I just needed to kind of rethink it a little bit for the newer version of the Brightside of the Moon. I rewrote the lyrics, I re-sang it, and much, much happier with the newer version of it, but it's pretty close. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Man, I was so into recording this stuff, When I was in my studio, I was so happy, just really, really giving it a shot, starting to get a little bit of a fan base and all that kind of stuff, like a reason to keep going, Do you hear Oasis in this? I do. I can hear it. I wasn't trying to copy Oasis. It's just, that's how it kind of came out. I love Oasis. I think they're great. A little bit of that Beach Boys kind of sound with the backing vocals. This ending, that's the vocoder saying, walk with me. Oh, I worked so hard on this ending. I remember it took me forever. All these little sounds and all these things you hear. Yeah, it's cool. That's the opening track, the title track, The Brightside of the Moon. Not bad. Oh man, white flag. Okay. When I wrote this song, I knew that it was good. It was good. It was a good idea. But I was never really happy with the lyrics and the vocal rhythm that I chose to sing. You'll hear that coming up in a little bit. Descending line on the keyboard and the piano and everything. Yeah, I didn't like these lyrics at all. Even when I sang these that we're hearing right now, I was not happy. I kind of thought I could do better, and I didn't realize I was going to have to wait another decade before I would write lyrics and sing it in a way that I thought was really good. So it's kind of cringy to me to listen to this, But, when you're writing a song and you're making something up, you just go with what you get, you can't force it. This is kind of a little, I don't know, on the nose, and the rhyme scheme is kind of silly to me. But it does have an element of beauty, and I like that idea of, singing about the idea of being grateful and thankful for being able to make music all day and, continue my musical and artistic life. So I'm singing about that. literally thanking God, like thank God. I was able to just eke out some kind of music / artistic lifestyle. I'm still grateful, trust me.
It's amazing feeling that moves inside of me.
I kind of, I think, imagined like a gospel choir, singing with me. That's kind of what I hear in my head, even now. I can hear hand claps, There's only one thing I need, but I can't remember what it is. That was a mistake. Yeah, I couldn't remember the lyrics that I was supposed to say. So I just said, I can't remember what it is. I left it in. You take my breath away and you're blowing me away. Like, that's really true. I was singing about my real feelings, about this whole music thing and doing music every day, in the studio in my house. I was so happy. Still am, but like back then when I wrote this song, it was fresh. I had just started this lifestyle that I've been now living for 10 years, but wow, it was just so powerful, to me. Forgive me if I took so long to believe. It's like that sense of self-doubt, and it's real. I'm not singing about stuff that's superficial or like bullshit. This is real, visceral thoughts and ideas. Like I was really, really feeling it. I obviously thought that song was good enough to, redo it and rewrite it. And oh man, I'm so happy with how it came out now. I'm so happy, so proud of it now. Oh, followers. Okay. Now this one was on the Wrench in the Rubicon. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's if you listen to what I'm saying, it is like a prayer, like flat out, no holds barred, like it is a prayer. And I liked that idea. I still do. I think the lyrics are great. Like I got it all in one shot too. Like I didn't have to work on the lyrics for this song. It all came very quickly. Nice music too, it's just one of those things you can never really know until you start going, but now years later looking back and listening to it now, it's like I'm proud of it. I can tell you a funny story about this song too, because when I first released it online, before I knew what I was doing, I released it on a place called Amy Street that took unsigned bands and you could put your music up there. But I was in the habit of, when I would name files in my studio, I would get a little goofy with the song titles and I would just play around with song titles. So when I uploaded this song to Amy Street, it had the wrong name. And instead of being called followers, I called it flowers. And like I had to live with it, it was called Flowers Mixed. It was a complete accident, like just a bonehead thing. Like, it's so funny. I'm so stupid sometimes. I do that. But I learned my lesson with that one. I never made that mistake again. That's one of the tenets of Christianity that I like, is the idea of redemption and having a contrite heart, because I do, and it's real. It's not phony, and I'm proud of the idea of like singing about it. But I never did want to be like a Christian rock band. I just, I'm really turned off by a lot of that kind of stuff, that kind of music. It's like, to me anyway, it's like fake and kind of like bullshit. Like they're not really, at least to me it seems that a lot of Christian rock is really insincere. It's really about making money and selling records and formula, And I don't think that pipe choir, while I do sing about Christian things and I come from that place, I don't associate myself or like what I'm doing with Christian rock bands. I think I'm a world away from them. I don't want to be in their club. I don't want to be there. I'm going for something else. I mean, I suppose I also don't want to be like pigeonholed, like everything I sing has to be about Jesus and, happy clappy and kumbaya. I'm not like that. I don't live my life like that. My faith and my spirituality are coming from a different place. And, honestly, I don't really care what people think. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Like, I'm not going to stop singing what I'm singing about or whatever because people like it or don't like it. I'm not going to. It's going to be what it's going to be. And this song, Followers, is really a good example of that. Oh, nice piano sound. It's good. Happy with that. I'll return to zero. Now, this was like an experiment, like a remix of the song that I released on the PC1 Division album. And, I'm always playing around with songs. You guys know that by now. It's a constant thing for me. So this was just another one of those, where I took something that existed already and I reimagined it. It's not like the most amazing thing I've ever heard, but, it is what it is. Pretty trippy.
Shadows from the candles fall, shadows dancing on the wall.
Yeah.
Axis turns the tide of days, constellations far away.
Sometimes when I listen to these older songs, listen to that. Pretty good. I think to myself, how in the hell did I ever come up with this? Like, where did it come from? Like, for a guy who didn't really know what he was doing, like, I think I'm being pretty creative, with the production. As far as, like, not knowing what I'm doing, it's, it didn't matter, I guess, because we're listening to this right now, and again, it is what it is. It's kind of funny too, because the person that I was when I wrote this is a very different person than the person I am today. So it's almost like listening to somebody else's songs sometimes. I can't believe, like, at the time I wrote this and recorded this thing we're listening to right now, like, I can't believe how much things have changed for me. Like, it's just, it blows me away. And not all of it's good. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad. I've lost a lot of people, as you guys probably know. And there's a lot of loss, a lot of sadness, but a lot of really great things. And, of course, Pipe Choir and PC3 and all that has a life of its own. And this is all recorded before I broke the world record for the longest song in the world. And, none of what I have now existed yet. So this was me in a room alone, just having a good time, trying to be creative, trying to make things that were good, Rivers Full of Joy. Oh man, this is an old one, man. I remember when I was shopping my music to record companies in New York City, and I had quite a few that were interested. This was one of the songs that I took with me, and there was a girl in New York City that was a pretty big fan, and she was really helpful to me, getting me around New York City and introducing me to people and stuff. And she worked at a record company, and she loved this song. And I didn't really like it that much, to be honest. When I listen to it now, it just had this kind of, to me, it had this kind of like compressed kind of, that kind of like noisy. It wasn't smooth and nice, but the lyrics are, I don't know. I was a kid, I think I was like 20 years old when I wrote this song. I think I was going for like a Pixies kind of sound, like that, or Jesus and Mary Chain. Trying to do vocal harmonies there, not bad. This song became, for the new Brightside of the Moon album, I re-sang it, I rewrote the lyrics. I kept all the music the same, but this is the music for The Good Brother. And I obviously re-sang it, rewrote it, the lyrics, into something that's pretty good. I think that I may in the future take another swing at singing this song again. The Good Brother. I'm not sure. I'm not completely content with the way The Good Brother came out for the Brightside of the Moon. There's like a handful of songs on the finished Brightside of the Moon album that I just released a few months ago. There's a couple of mixes on there that I wasn't really happy with, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all that yet, but I don't know. Maybe I won't do anything. I don't know. I like this kind of guitar solo. The kind of guitar solo that you can hum, I'm not like a Eddie Van Halen like noodler, I'm more like Robert Smith from The Cure. I am waiting for your rivers full of joy to take me away. I am waiting. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Do you hear like Jesus and Mary Chain or the Pixies? Do you hear that? Yeah. Rivers full of joy. Reminds me of New York City, because I was walking around in New York City for the first time, and I was shopping this song to record companies. It's almost like it was another person. I can't believe I ever did that. But I did. Oh, So You Cannot Buy. I always liked this song. I think the lyrics are good. I got the lyrics in one shot too, like that song Followers. The lyrics to this song came out like I sang it once, and this was the song, you know. That doesn't happen often, overly romantic, you know. I like it though. Those drums. I remember drumming to this. Like light years ago. So long ago. Very simple song. I like those lyrics.
A soul you cannot buy. A soul you cannot buy. A soul you cannot buy.
This is one of those songs that I think would sound really good live. You know, if it was really, really loud, you know, and probably a very powerful song to hear live. There are places we can be. Little tip of the hat to Peter Murphy there. I'm a huge Peter Murphy fan. Here I say ours. Yeah, but I changed that on the most recent version of this song. When I say heaven. Heaven. I think I like the newer version better. And I was able to drum it a little bit better too. But this is the original. I remember it like it was yesterday. know the world was a different place when I recorded this song. I just can't believe how many things have changed. It's unbelievable. All this music really is like a time capsule. It's like going back in time, especially when I'm forced to kind of just sit and listen and think and take it in and what comes to mind. Oh, this is Division. Yeah, okay. When I recorded this song Division, when I wrote it and recorded it, I did two versions of it. One of them was a little bit faster and one was a little bit slower. And the one that was a little bit slower, I played around with different kinds of hand percussion. You can hear it in here. The heavier version that wound up getting released on the Division album was like a little bit heavier, a little bit more of a rock song. But what I can tell you about this one and that other version is that I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And the reason that I was singing so loud was because I could. Yeah, for like the first time I was able to sing loud in my studio without bothering anybody. And I was having the time of my life singing this. And I'll talk about being like enraged and pissed off. You can hear it. I mean, I am not kidding around. There was a lot of shit going on in my life at this time, and I was like one pissed off mofo, you know? But the best way, like I've said before, the best way to channel that anger is to grab a microphone and put it into art, you know? But I'm singing like very, very loud, and I remember that, you know, blowing my voice out. I was just like getting it out. Definitely singing like to some people, you know, that were in my life at that time. I couldn't, you know, lash out at them, but I could do this. It would be kind of funny to try to sing to this now. Or try to sing it now. I wonder if I could. Without doing permanent damage to my voice. I think I could do it. I am, listen to that, man. I'm like letting it rip, you know? Come on. I'm always saying, come on. Listen to this. Never compromise. Never compromise. Never stand in line. It's crazy to hear it now. I'm just like not that angry anymore. You know? Like, dude, chill. Never stand in line. Hell yeah, man. I was always kind of proud of the idea that I could sing songs most of the time, like that are kind of soft and pretty or something like that, but I could also do this, you know? I have to think about that a little bit. Like maybe I should do another song where I'm really letting it rip. I suppose if it happens naturally, then it'll happen, but like this did. This was natural. I mean, I just was like, let's go. Absolutely pissed. Pissed off. Woo. Chill, Mike. Oh, right here, right now. You know, this one? I wrote this song on a bicycle. Okay, I was riding my bicycle for exercise around my city, and this rhythm came into my mind. It was like, it's hard to explain, but it was like the music came together in my head while I was riding my bike. So I went home after I got done and I recorded the drums first, and I had that dun 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 dun, like I had that in my head, and I started to kind of put these lyrics to that, you know, to that music, like a rhyme scheme to that, and that's what this is. And when you listen to this one on the chorus, when I say right here, right now, you may not be able to hear it, but my wife is actually singing backup vocals on this. I'll show you where. It's very quiet though. Now my wife is singing with me here, but you can't hear it. I put it so low in the mix. I shouldn't have, you know? I shouldn't have, because she sang it really good. But I remember, and even like now when I listen to it now, but even especially back then, I was really surprised at how good this sounded. Like it was one of my better songs, you know? Like it was one of those like, wow, that actually came out much better than I thought it would. I think that this version we're hearing is better than the redo I did for Eskons. I did this song for Eskons, and I don't think that that version was as good as this one. I think this one is pretty good, even though it was done on old equipment and everything. I think just the way it sounds, you know, it's like it wrote itself. That's what it seems like. I like this one. I still do. It's one of those songs that, like, when I listen to it, it's almost like listening to somebody else. How did I do it? I wish I knew how, because I would do it a lot. It just came together, you know? Not complicated, not sophisticated. It's really a blues riff, you know, on a piano, with a groove drum beat underneath it, and I talked about it in the Eskons description, so there's a lot of stuff I covered in that description, but this is the original. This is the very first recording of this song, and like I said, even when I listen to it now, it's like, whoa. It's actually pretty good. And I'm not bragging. I mean, I'm not. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. You know, I'm winging it. But this sounds all right. Vocoder voice in there too, the robot voice.
Come and close the door.
here right now.
Right here, right now. Right here, right now.
This song would be good in a movie soundtrack, I think.
Right here, right now.
I'm trying to think if anybody's ever used it in a movie. I don't think so. Because this version was never released, so this was never used on a soundtrack or anything like that. Because, you know, that's one of the deals with being a Creative Commons artist is, you know, you make music and you allow people to use it for free, and all kinds of people use it for all kinds of different things. So, you know, a song like this, as unknown as I may seem or as unknown as I may be, this may find its way into a film or something. That's happened a few times, more than a few times. I love it. I think that's cool. It's like totally awesome. Like to watch a movie and to hear your song in a movie is like really, really cool. You know, listen to that. It's nice. That's the piano from a Korg M1 keyboard. Really good sounding piano. Oh yeah, Midnight on Jakeway. And this is the original version of that. I redid this song for the Wrench and the Rubicon. There's a few of those, you know, that made appearances on other albums that, you know. But this is like the original version of the song. I remember I was trying to go for, or starting with the drum beat from a song by a group called Massive Attack. And the song was called Angel, I think. And it just had this wicked beat, very simple, you know, like this beat right here. You know, real simple. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use that. So I did. Yeah, feeling like a sense of nostalgia from my younger days when I was writing this. And remembering people that I used to know and I was friends with. In particular, like a particular girl. I won't say her name. But, oh, I loved her. I really did. And I miss her. I would love to talk to her again and see how she's doing, but that's not how life works out. Man, you know, I gotta say, when I listen to this, it's like, it's real. You know what I mean? Like, this is real. I'm not singing about somebody in the abstract or some other person's experience. Like, this is really coming from me, you know? Our hearts were free, watching me, watching you, swimming us beneath the moon. I remember Jakeway Quarry, another quarry, in Ohio, though, right by, you know, where I grew up. There was this big, huge quarry that people could swim in, like, during the day, but we would sneak in at night when nobody was there through a hole in the fence, you know, and me and a group of maybe 10 or 12 of my friends, we would all just go swimming, and people would be, you know, just having a great time. A party, you know, and but I remember this one particular person, and you know, there were some fireworks between her and and I loved her. I did. Still do. I still love her. Oh, it's great to be young. You know, a lot of fun for me. Oh well, time passes. Things change. We get older. But this kind of stuff, you know, it lives with me, you know. I'm a sentimental fool, you know. That's just how I am. And, you know, it's the kind of thing when I think about it and I'm listening to this, it's like, you know, I don't walk around every day, you know, thinking about this and thinking about this, but I'm kind of proud of the fact that when I do think about it, I can go pretty deep, you know, and then I can exit and I can go on to other things, but like, I don't have to live there, you know, but if we were going to sit down and talk about it, I have a lot that I still feel. And I'm proud of that. You know, it's not something to be ashamed of, or like I'm not too macho to admit it. I had a lot of people when I was young that I loved them all, you know, and this song was written really for them, but mostly about that one person. And, oh, I loved her. Oh, damn, you know. Actually, I have a distinct memory of, like, you know, her parents loved me, okay? Both her mother and father loved me. And I remember having the distinct feeling or the thought, like, I want her parents to be my parents someday. It's a shame we couldn't stay. It's a shame we couldn't stay. Not to be. Oh, poor Mike. Hey, rocking back and forth. Oh, this one. Written around, these are all written around the same time. And I always liked this one. I redid it for the Wrench and the Rubicon, and I think it sounds really good, but this version's not bad. I think the new version sounds better because I did a few things that are better, but I liked how this song started with drums in the beginning, and then right after like the intro, the drums stop, and there are no drums. So it's just this cloud of music, you know, these waves of sound. Listen, you know, there's no drums, there's no rhythm. As soon as you remove the drums from a song, it becomes like a jellyfish. There's no vertebrae, there's no bones, it doesn't stand up. You know, it's just this floaty cloud. And like, that's how, you know, most of the PC3 songs are written. You know, I'll put drums down, put music down, and then when the song's almost finished, I'll remove the drums and I'll have something that sounds like this. And it completely changes it, you know? I like that. And it's an emotional kind of song too, so it suits it to be, you know, in the mindset of like reflecting and rocking back and forth. You know, you're alone, you're in a private moment with just yourself, your interior, you're thinking about something and maybe missing somebody or wanting something or whatever. And that's what this is like about. This is about that kind of moment that, you know, I don't have that all the time, but I do have it often. You know, I think a lot and I reflect a lot, and that's what this song is. It's like reflecting, thinking about something. You know, it doesn't have to be a girl, it doesn't have to be a thing, it can just be anything. It could be in anything. It could be a memory or a person or a moment, an emotion, you know. And I like that about this song. Good guitar too. In the light. Emotion in motion. actually, when I'm thinking about it now, I may be singing about my friend who recently died, who took his own life. We had stopped talking for a little while, and I might be singing to him here. I long for the friend that I used to be. I long for the things you'd say when the night comes around. When I'm alone and I'm reflecting, I think about you as a friend, and how funny you were, and how much fun we had. I long for the things I used to see. Long for the things you do when the night comes around. When I'm by myself and I'm still and I'm not busy, I'm just thinking. And I remember you, and I miss you, I want to talk to you again. Like, a love song doesn't have to be about a man and a woman or a woman and a man. There's all different kinds of love. And I loved him, I really did. And that's real love. It's not fake or, it's true. It's just true. You meet a lot of people in your life, right? But you don't love everybody. There's certain people that you love differently. There's certain people you don't like at all, right? But there's some people that you really do love. And I loved him. And I miss him now. I do. And I missed him back then, too. It's really difficult for me to not be talking to him. Or, I should say, to have him not talking to me. So it's really kind of like a love song for a best friend that you've lost contact with. It's not all about women and that kind of love. All different kinds of love. A lot of people have a hard time understanding that. Don't cry. This is me getting my U2 on. As you all know, I'm like a pretty huge fan of U2. Or at least I was back in the day. I still am. Who am I trying to kid? But, I love them. And this was definitely a shameless attempt, at doing something like them. You can hear the echo on the guitar, and the straight kick drum. Where the streets have no name, right? I probably recorded this originally with the idea that nobody would ever hear it. Wrong. And say, it's a pretty good song. Pretty simple too. It's very simple. I like that idea of singing about, don't cry, dry your eyes, like everything is going to be okay, and probably singing it to like my wife, because like I said, at the time I was writing a lot of this music. We were really going through a lot of emotional things, and life was very dark and difficult a lot of the time. But our relationship was always good. Like, we've never had a problem. I've been married for 20 years, and we've never even had a fight. Not even an argument, Most of the problems that we've ever had have come from outside, and not from in between her and I, We just don't fight. We don't do that. We don't want to. We never will. It's just we want happiness, peace, and laughing and fun, and we're not really into like hurting each other's feelings. So when she was sad and she would be sad, I would be like really feeling it, and I'd be sad too, and I don't want her to cry. You know, like all you guys out there that have a woman that you love, and when you see her cry, if you really, really love her and you see her start crying, it's like heads will roll, man. You know, like, no way. It's unacceptable. Don't cry. Everything will be okay. I will make sure that you are okay. Don't you worry. Everything will be okay. I know it's hard, but we carry on. I know it's hard. It's hard to carry on. And when you're going through tough times, it is hard to carry on sometimes, you know. But, you know, we leaned into each other, and it was like, I've always said, it was like being on a life raft with her in the middle of an ocean. It's like there is nobody to help us. There is nobody else. It's just her and I, you know, and that probably has a lot to do with why or how we get along so well with each other, and we're really kind of patient and forgiving, because for a really long time it was really just her and I. We had no family here where we lived, and even if they were close by, they wouldn't be reliable or anything, and we had to rely on each other. That is all we had, you know. And that's what this song, I guess, kind of reminds me of, is that we didn't have money, we didn't have friends, we didn't have stuff, you know, we had each other and, you know, a very, very small budget for living expenses and fun, you know. So, yeah, it's really kind of like a testimony to, you know, being in love with somebody, really loving somebody, and not wanting them to be sad. It's kind of a beautiful thing. Putting it into words. Don't cry. Dry your eyes. Everything will be all right. Yeah, like I said, it's not bullshit, you know. I'm not just like singing songs for people to dance to. It's like I really mean what I'm singing about, you know. Okay. Trem Tram. This is my wife's favorite song. I think it's okay. You know, it's pretty good. She thinks this is good. Actually, I remember when I was first working on this idea, there's a song by Seal called Bring It On, the singer, Seal. And I love him. I think he's excellent. He's one of my favorites of all time. I have everything he's ever recorded. And he had that song, Bring It On. And I was like, you know, I'm going to do something similar to what he's doing in that song. Like, I like what he's doing with the music and his voice and everything. And so I started working on this song. And I have a version of this actually called Bring It On, because I sang the lyrics to Seal's song Bring It On to this music to kind of give me like a roadmap of, you know, where to go with my voice and stuff. I had the music done, you know. And obviously this doesn't sound anything like Seal, you know, like, you know, nobody cares. It doesn't matter. It's like, did I rip him off? No, not really, because listen to this. I don't have any problems doing that kind of thing. You're getting inspiration from another singer or another song, you know, especially with drums. You can't copyright drums, you know, unless you're Led Zeppelin. But this is like, this was written around the exact same time, maybe the same month as that song Right Here, Right Now. I remember riding my bike around, listening to this in a Walkman, a CD Walkman. And, man, it's so cool. I loved it. It is fun. I like the chord changes in this. They're good notes, you know. I'll say it anyway, you know. How many times have I said it in songs, right? I'll say it anyway. I have a song called I'll Say It Anyway. It's kind of a cool thing that implied when you say I'll say it anyway. Oh yeah, speak and spell sounds. I use those all the time. Oh, okay. That was a little quick. Listen. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to remember. What is this one? Okay, it's Listen. I remember I wrote 2 versions of this song. And I was pretty sad and missing like my family, you know, back in Ohio. And but I was also a little pissed off too. So I wrote 2 versions of this song, and the first one was the pissed off version. And I listened to it. I was like, I can't do that. You know, it was rough. I still have it too. You know. I was not happy. But then I wrote this version that was a little more sentimental and a little more, you know, loving, you know. And don't say goodbye. It was really, without going into it too much, it was really kind of a difficult time that way. My brothers and my mom and my dad and my sisters, and, you know, there was a lot of disruption and a lot of hurt feelings, and I was very far away from all of them. And like I said before, I'm a sentimental fool. You know, I get emotional about things, and I love people even when they're not nice to me or I'm not nice to them. I do love people unconditionally. That's not always the case with me and other people. They don't always love me back, you know, or like me back. And that's okay, because, you know, sometimes, honestly, I deserved it, but I still loved them all, you know. And now it's like, I think about it now, it's like, wow, so much has changed. Like, so many of the people that I loved and cared about are dead. Like, they're not alive anymore. When I wrote this song, everybody was still alive. Everything, you know, was pretty much the way that it had been for the past 50 years. You know what I mean? Like, I was probably about 40 when I wrote that song. But, you know, everything had stayed the same. And then all of a sudden, everybody's gone. You know? And that is a real strange thing to kind of get your head around. Oh, yeah, alms. Now, I'll tell you what. With this song, Alms, all right, I wrote a version of it, or the original version of it was really like a heavier version. I was trying to go for something heavy. And it sounded okay, you know, it sounded pretty cool. But then, you know, I got one of those moments of inspiration where, you know, I was really editing a lot at this time. Like, I don't know if you remember me talking about that song Strobe that I have. It was released on the PC1 Division album. You know, I was really kind of coming into my own with editing sounds and wave files and music. And so this is me kind of sitting down for a song that's like 4 minutes long and really going off. with the editing. Like, how much fun can I have with editing? So I scrapped a lot of the old music from the original heavy rocking version, and I replaced it with all this like beeps and buzzes and techno stuff and little sounds and danceable almost. And I was really proud of it. Like, when I did this, I thought the original version was pretty good, but this was like a little bit better. And I decided to put it on the Brightside of the Moon, you know, as opposed to the other version. So I was pretty proud. I was doing a lot of tricky stuff with this song. It was a lot of man hours of sitting in front of the screen, editing, you know, tediously, very small things, and like meticulously editing. So to me, this is like a snapshot of what I was capable of at this time. You know, 2010 maybe, 2009 maybe even. I'm trying to think. Okay, this is Alms. Yeah, I think it was probably about 2010, 2011. A decade ago, you know? It is so effed up. I can't believe it. You know, I just can't believe it sometimes. A lot of stuff going on in this mix. And this is only 16 tracks. Everything you're hearing on this album in its entirety is all recorded on a 16-track Korg D1600 digital recorder. Oh, that machine is so awesome. I have it sitting right here next to me in my studio still. I got like 3 of them, you know, because they break. And I keep finding a new one, you know. Oh, it was a game changer for me, man. Recording digitally, 16-bit, as opposed to a 4-track cassette recorder. It's awesome. It's so amazing. Well, that's really when everything started, you know? Honestly, as soon as I got that Korg D1600, that's when everything I would wind up doing in the future started. Everything else was a warm-up before that. And look at it now. It's crazy now what it's become and what I'm doing now. It's just crazy. Shocking. It shocks me. Pretty good for a guy that had like no idea what he's doing, you know? Like, no one ever taught me this stuff. I had to learn it myself. Sedusa. Man, this is probably, out of all the songs on here, on this album, this is probably the oldest. You can tell because it's recorded really bad. But even though it's recorded bad, you can kind of tell that the song is there. You know, it's just the production quality suffers. Actually, I had a version of this song before I called it Sedusa. I had a song called Star Chamber. That's right, that's a long time ago now. And it was written with this keyboard sound that I had. You can hear it in the song. And it was very similar to this, but I changed it around a little bit. And I changed the name, and I sang different lyrics and everything, but that earlier song was the seed for this. Kind of gave birth to this. And when I recorded this, even though it sounds wonky now, I was really, really happy with the way that the way the song was written, you know? Oh yeah, that was a cool idea. Have the whole song stop. goes through this progression of verse and chorus and then stops. Then it starts again. It stops. And then it starts again. And then it stops. Like, I like that idea. I knew a girl named Blender, the keeper of my keys. She tried to pull me under and bring me to my knees. Blender. That was probably Brenda. My friend Brenda. I don't know if you remember me talking about her in previous things, but yeah, I didn't say her name. I said Blender. God rest her soul. There's another one. She's not here anymore. She died. You know, it's so effed up. All those people, you know, there's so many. And I'm contending with that, you know. It's like something I'm learning how to deal with because I never had to before. Same lies, you know. So dramatic. But then it all stops. See? Fades away. Then you hear a voice go, "Come on."
Come on.
And this guitar solo. Now, I love this. It's like the pattern of notes and the way it's all working together for this part. I really, really like it. It's one of like my most proud moments, you know. This music right here. It's me drumming on there. Live drums. Same eyes, same smile. Same eyes, a different soul. Whoa, man. Wow, man. I love it, though. Live drums. I think I wound up changing those lyrics. I didn't realize I sang it differently. Perfect halo shadow. I didn't even realize I said that. This is old, man. This is like I don't know, man. This is probably like 2006, 2007. This is old. But I knew the song was good. It just needed polish, you know, it needed to be really kind of done well, and it would be effective, you know. But then again, this isn't bad, right? I mean, this is the idea is represented adequately. Sedusa. Whole thing stops, right? Everything fades away. Comes back in. maybe sometimes I'm overly critical or even overly excited about things I do, but it's like I don't walk around in the world thinking about how great I am. I just don't. So when I do something that's good, or I think it's good, I don't really pat myself on the back, but it's like my self-esteem goes up like an inch, Ode to Spirit. Yeah, this is old too. I love this music. I love it. And you can probably hear, like, this is like the beginnings, of PC3. And this is, pretty much a PC3 song under the name Pipe Choir. But at the time I wrote this and, what we're hearing right now when I recorded it, PC3 didn't exist yet. So it's kind of cool to hear it. Kind of makes me think of like if you've ever been like on the beach or like on top of a building or on top, somewhere high up where the wind is really strong and the sky is beautiful and you're just taking it in. This to me is like the soundtrack for that. It's what I picture in my mind. Being in a place that's really windy. I love wind. I love that feeling, and watching a sunset or a sunrise even, or just taking in that feeling of, I don't even know what you'd call it. Peace, right? I guess peace would be the kind of like makes me think of like God, and like those moments when you really are in the spirit, you can feel it and you just take it in. You're just like receiving it, and it doesn't happen all the time. It happens like at really special moments, like you can't make it happen. You can't predict it. It just comes. And this is like the soundtrack to that moment in my mind, I never quite understood why other people wouldn't like that like I do. Like why would people not want to feel that? And there are some people who never feel it, and I feel so bad for them. Because it's such a great feeling for anybody who's listening to this that has had a moment like that when you realize, like, you don't have to be told anything. You know in every fiber of your being that God is real and He's in your life. He sees you and He's got His hand on your life. And yes, it might be rough, it might be not great all the time, but when it counts, it's really, really good. And, that's why you write a song called An Ode to the Spirit. You can't manufacture this feeling. You can't manufacture what I'm doing here. And there's not a bunch of words and, a bunch of things I'm saying. It's pretty much instrumental. Just close your eyes and feel the power. I feel it. I feel this song. I do. Still, just hearing it right now, it's like, yeah. Every once in a while I need a reminder, listening to it, recollecting, right? But for those people out there listening to this that believe and they've had those moments, they don't need any explanation. You know, science doesn't mean shit. You know, it's like, I don't need it to be, you know, quantified. You know, I don't need that. It's not about that. It's about something you can't see. You can't touch. It's just there, you know. All of a sudden it's on you and you can feel it. And I wrote a song about that. I'm glad I did. And I don't really care, I don't really care what anybody else thinks. I feel bad, I guess, when people, you know, are not able to see it the way I do, but oh well, you know, it's their destiny, not mine. And I never had any problem believing in God. I never had a moment when I questioned it. You know, I just believed. I was raised that way, sure, but I don't know. I never needed to be convinced. And I've had moments that were just so amazing. And you know that it has nothing to do with anything that's like temporal, you know, anything in this world that we're in. You know, it's something more than that. I don't know. That's the end of my sermon, you know. But it's true. I'm not making it up, or I'm not being silly, you know, or I'm not full of shit, you know. Oh, Mapping the Stars. Okay, this is the last track. It's good. This was written like around the same time that Rocking Back and Forth was, you know. Yeah, these are all very close, you know, chronologically. You can tell by the sounds I'm using. I think I wrote this, though, on a 4-track cassette tape. I did a demo of this song. And it was good. It was pretty good. It didn't have any of the drums or anything. It was mostly my guitar and my voice. But you can hear with the luxury of recording on a 16-track digital recorder. I mean, I could turn it into this. Drums come in gradually. It's kind of funny because when I wrote these lyrics, I had no idea what the hell I was talking about. Like, you know, it just sounded cool and it didn't make much sense. But, you know, a lot of the time when that happens, like, you don't care. You just, it sounds good, you know. But I think that many, many years later, like 20 years later, when I hear it now, I'm not sure, but I think I might be singing about the flat earth. Which is kind of effed up because at the time that I was writing this, nobody was talking about flat earth. And, you know, am I a flat earther? You know, I don't know. Probably. Like, who knows for sure, you know? I don't. So, the lyrics are kind of, I think, dancing around that idea. And I wrote it, like, you know, so long ago. I had no idea. But this idea of we're mapping the stars to find our way home. You know, for anybody who knows anything about flat Earth, the sky and the stars and all that, it takes on a whole different meaning, you know. And I'm not saying that that's what this song is about, but it seems like it probably could be, you know. And sometimes shit just works out that way, you know. Nice music, though. Even without any singing on it, I think it would sound nice. It would sound good. And And when I redid this for the Wrench and the Rubicon, I didn't change much at all. I think I just changed the drums. A lot of people liked it. And the video for it came out pretty good too. I remember that. It's one of my better videos. So there you go. There's a wrap. That was the original Brightside of the Moon album. Recorded, basically I'd say 2013. That's the year I would put on it, because I was getting ready to release it. And then at the last minute, I shelved it and I started to work on Ad Astra 1, 2, and 3. So, this album kind of died a death, and it was sitting there for like 10 years, man, and I found it and I was like, I should finish it, and I did. As you all know, probably about 6 months ago now, or maybe a little bit longer than that, I released the Brightside of the Moon. And you guys know that whole story. The irony being that I'm releasing this album description before I did a description for the most recent up-to-date version of the album. So maybe that'll be in order next. I don't know. I know I have the Wrench and the Rubicon description coming up. But this one just kind of took precedence in my mind, at least for right now. I was on it, and I was into doing it. So, yeah, I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that people wanted to hear it, because there's technically no reason for anybody to really care. But there are apparently some people who do. And even though it's not millions and millions of people, it's maybe only 1 or 2 people. Like I've said to you before, that's all I need. I don't need to have Billie Eilish size audiences. I don't need it. I don't want it, really. I don't. So there we go. The pipe choir, the Brightside of the Moon, and I was calling it the Demosis version, like demos. These ultimately became demos. So there you go. All my happy innovators out there. And remember, folks, if you want to keep what you've got to give it away. Take it easy, everybody.